The Young Turks brought to you by Carbonite Online Backup. Get a free trial at carbonite.com by using the promo code TYT, and you also get 2 months free if you decide to buy.
I just read a very long, detailed analysis of the new census, the 2010 census. And what it screams out is Republicans in massive trouble. Now, why? And will the Democrats be able to take advantage of it? It all hinges on one thing: Latinos. Why? They're coming. They already came, and they're coming even more. Larger and larger percentage of the population. First, let me give you a scope of the numbers. The overall share of the non-Hispanic white population, so whites that are not Hispanic, obviously used to be a giant percentage of this country. Even in 2000, it was 69.1%, so obviously near 70% of the country. And that has now dropped to 63.7% in 10 years. That's a big, big demographic shift, okay? But when you get to under 18, it's even more dramatic. In the under 18 category, in 2000, 39.1% were minorities: Black, Hispanic, Asian, etc., non-whites, okay? That number is now up to 46.5%. Nearly at 50% under 18 are minorities in this country. In fact, the projections at the current rate of growth have a majority of children in the United States being minorities by 2015. I don't know if you know this, that's only 4 years away. Okay. Now, the Republican Party has lost the black vote, it appears, well, indefinitely. I don't want to say forever. They had it in the beginning under Abraham Lincoln. Obviously, they made some decisions since then that by Nixon, among others, Reagan, and they continue to make them, that continue them to lose the to the black vote, I should say, because they made a conscious decision. It was called the Southern Strategy, and they wanted to appeal to Southern racists and get all their votes and then have them switch from Democrats to Republicans. It worked in the short term and the midterm. It worked for a long time. It's now really, really hurting them. So if you've lost the blacks and you've lost Hispanics, well, then you're in a world of trouble. Well, the question is, have they lost Latinos, right? And the numbers are not good, okay? Now, Barack Obama captured a huge percentage of the minority vote, about 80%, okay? And about 2/3 of Latinos went to Barack Obama in the last election. Now, if he gets anywhere near that percentage again, the Republicans are in trouble, and not just in states that they are already in trouble in, but states like Florida, which are now more and more Latino, states even like Georgia and Arizona that are more minority based now. Even Texas has a lot more minorities now, and so is in play. The fact that Texas is in play is amazing. And every day, that demographic advantage gets better and better for the Democrats and worse for the Republicans. Now, the Republicans could turn it around by actually showing any degree of empathy towards Latinos. But you think that's going to happen? Of course not. Now, so what does that lead to? It leads to an obvious conclusion. Unless the Obama people are just unbelievably bad at politics, which I don't believe. You can say they're bad at policy, you're bad at caving into Republicans, but they play politics, okay? They play their own version of politics, and this is politics 101, right? My very informed and educated guess here, prediction as usual, is that they will introduce immigration legislation between now and the election, probably in 2012, so that they can say before the election to the Latino voters, look at this, we're on your side, we're trying to do immigration reform. These son of a bitch Republicans won't let us pass it. And the Republicans will probably fall for that trick, hook, line, and sinker, because they can't help themselves. They'll have Louis Gohmert out there, Michelle Bachmann, Steve King, Mike Pence, and they'll say outrageous things about immigrants, and then that will galvanize the Latino community to support the Democrats, even though the Democrats actually put immigration on the back burner this whole time. And by the way, when they put together that legislation and introduce it, it is not with the intent to pass it. Keep it real. They think that they have almost no chance of passing it. They're going to put it out there for politics so they can say, oh, you see, we tried. We kept our promise. Now, in reality, our job here is to tell you the truth, okay, not to pick sides, at least political sides. Obviously, my policy perspective is clear. The reality is, if they really cared about it, they would have done it in the first 2 years when they had a huge numerical advantage in Congress. But they didn't do that in the first 2 years. Instead, they're saving it for the election so they could use it to get Latino voters to show up so that they can win. It's craven, but that's politics, okay? And Latinos are going to have to make a decision. And look, the problem is that the Democrats have the advantage they've always had, which is that the other side is full of unbearable people that are, demagogue against Latinos, demagogue against everybody, that are so radical and extreme that you don't have a choice. You have to vote for the Democrats, in this case, President Obama. Now, the question is, are they going to be able to motivate people who don't normally vote to get out there and vote for the president? And here's where Latino organizers have a huge political advantage. Look, they've got a really large and growing Latino population, and Latinos are not registered to vote at nearly the rates of other ethnicities in the country. So there's a big untapped number of voters out there that if you put in some work, you can get out. So the question is, are they going to be motivated to put in that kind of work? And there's some other advantages too, like they're in some of the critical states, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I think the question for President Obama and the Democrats is, not are the Latinos that are going to vote already going to vote for you because they don't have a real choice, but can you motivate the Latino community to go out and register all those people who don't normally vote, et cetera, and to get them to actually go out and vote because they're energized and really believe you will deliver on your promise of immigration reform? Well, that's an important question. But look, when you look at the macro picture, the more important thing than even the 2012 election is, where is this demographic trend going? And where it's going is to tremendous power to the Latino community politically, because they will be a huge swing vote, and they're growing and if they really stay with the Democrats to the degree that they are now, well, then the Republicans have very little chance of winning national elections going forward, unless they change their strategy. And I think in about 4 to 6 years, they're not going to have a choice. They're going to have to backpedal. They're going to have to change this because the demographic tide will wash them out.
Eventually, you're going to have a computer disaster, your computer is going to crash, and you're going to lose all your files. But with Carbonite Online Backup, you don't have to worry about any of that because it automatically saves your files off-site. You can access all of your backed up files from any computer remotely, or if you want, you can also access your files through an iPhone or BlackBerry with Carbonite's awesome free app. Carbonite costs just $55 a year for unlimited backup for your PC or Mac. Think about it, that's less than $5 a month. Get a free trial at carbonite.com by using the promo code TYT, and you also get 2 months free if you decide to buy.